So we got the 415 spoilers, and this is a really exciting chapter because there's a bunch of stuff happening and a few theories might be coming true, because of course we are continuing the final battle between Izuku and Shigaraki here. So let's just get right into it. So the chapter starts with Tsuyu and Mineta in that one USJ scene on the boat. Yoichi realizes that their memories are blending together because of One for All and All for One's quirk factor's resonance, which has been getting stronger since they started fighting. So yeah, this has been happening. We saw in the previous chapter when Izuku forcibly gave Shigaraki the second user's quirk, it like caused this reverberation in him where Kudo went deep inside the quirk factor, or I don't know, he went inside of Shigaraki's consciousness or whatever and like broke through the area where he's like holding back the Tenko aspect of his personality, and it suddenly caused both Izuku and Shigaraki to start reliving memories from the series. And as it says resonance here, I guess because All for One and One for All both come from brothers. I mean, both of the quirks aren't really tied together other than that. All for One always wanted a strong heart so that he could steal One for All, but the true heart was always inside them. This power was passed on from generation to generation just for this moment. To defeat the strongest villain of all, Deku prepares to transfer all the vestiges at once. We see more memories from the USJ arc, like the Big Nomu and Shigaraki's original design. Deku punches Tomura, but it doesn't work. Shigaraki's rejection is so strong that he opposed the transfer, but he still receives some damage. We see Shigaraki is now so powerful that he could just stop the forced transfer of One for All, but not entirely, because we saw that Izuku is trying to force all of the vestiges at once. You know, as before, he was doing it one by one, or at least he planned to, but that's not necessarily the case because N still managed to break through, and the sixth user, and get transferred, which is also like Izuku's smoke quirk, which explains the damage. This makes Deku realize that he can't give up yet. He just has to keep trying. He then sees a memory of a man in a suit taking Tenko home. So here's the first theory that I think is coming true, which we've been talking about for years on the channel, and that is All for One being the person who gave Tenko, you know, aka Shigaraki, the DK quirk in the first place. I know a lot of people after this point are going to be like, well, it was obvious, even though like so many of you asked me like, where does this panel take place and like how did that happen? It was chapter 235 in Shigaraki / Tenko's flashback. It's very subtle and we see it right there. He's kind of hiding in plain sight. So now that we're seeing like moments before that where it's clearly All for One because he always wears the same suit, it just shows that he orchestrated everything from the beginning, because Tenko / Shigaraki was essentially born quirkless because his quirk hadn't manifested even by the age of 5, which they say like if you don't have a quirk by then you're pretty much quirkless. So this is just going to show like, oh, you know, All for One was the perpetrator. He orchestrated this the whole time, and then maybe he'll have some kind of breakthrough at that point. And then also Shigaraki and Izuku can have more of a parallel where they were both born quirkless and wound up having the two end game final boss quirks that were like essentially the second and third quirks ever, maybe, which led to this over 100-year war of good and evil. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. So you probably have like big, bold, and ambitious creative dreams this year, right? You want to launch like an online shop or just build up your brand as a creator. Well, Skillshare is the place that can get you from point A to point B, because learning paths are curated sequential class collections to master a specific skill or competency. You'll know exactly where to start your learning journey with a curated list of classes to take you from beginner to advanced, so you can stay motivated by easily tracking your progress to reach your goal, as well as discover new to you teachers. So for me personally, it's been kind of difficult to promote and build my brand, to be honest, but I feel a lot more confident about it after taking the create and promote your personal brand with zero experience learning path. So first I started with Hamza Khan's Do Things Tell People the Power of Personal Brand Building. Like I said, this is something that I struggle with, and Hamza really helped me because I was able to learn how to construct the core elements of my personal brand, and he also showed me ways to strategically promote myself to others, how to effectively network and authentically promote myself without hesitation. The next class after that is DIY branding for beginners. Design a unique logo using Canva by Nisha B. And this is something that I didn't even think about, to be honest. So I appreciate that Nisha showed me the foundational branding skills of identifying my target audience and conducting a competitor analysis. And then of course, how to work in Canva to build upon templates with custom elements, colors, and a font to create a unique logo, which I desperately need. And then the final class is the one I was most excited for because it's how to market yourself on TikTok as a creative professional by Erin McGough. I've been really trying to grow my TikTok this year and it just really hasn't been going that well lately. So I was really happy to take this course where Erin helped me with content strategy, practicals of production, following trends, going viral, engaging with my audience, as well as even protecting my mental health. Erin really gave me the tools that I needed to navigate TikTok like a pro. So guys, if you're looking to better yourself this year and use a very valuable learning path from Skillshare, check the link in the description because the first 500 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thanks, guys. But it doesn't really go further than this. Like, I think this is the only time that this is being mentioned in this chapter. So maybe in the next chapter, we'll get the big revelation. Shigaraki's giant fingers keep getting bigger and more grotesque. One of Hatsume's robots, the one that looks like a little ball with wings from back when Deku was training Air Force with All Might, is recording the battle. Cut to UA and we see that it's in the process of landing. Cementos, Gentle, and other heroes are doing everything they can to make the landing safe. Hatsume says that Deku is still her client, so she needs to keep an eye on his to better meet his demands in the future. Okay, so this is cool. They're saving UA, which was one of the ticking clocks here. You know, it's been falling and Gentle's kind of been holding it up. And as for what Hatsume is doing here, it's kind of all for naught because the series is ending, so her meeting his future demands are something that we're just gonna see maybe in like a montage or just one panel in the very last chapter. La Brava says that Deku is the boy who made the man she loves get arrested, turning him into a better person. Both her and Hatsume have to keep watching the fight and rooting for him no matter what. The business course student is watching the fight on his phone and can't believe what he's seeing. It cuts to one of the shelters where several civilians are shocked by Shigaraki's giant fingers. The chapter ends with Eri running and ectoplasm trying to stop her. So this is the other theory that we've been talking about for a while now. And I didn't know how it was going to get to this point because Eri was kind of, being sheltered as she should, being protected from this freaking war that's going on. But she's making her way out there. And this is for a reason, I'm assuming, because it goes back to what we've been talking about also for years now. And it's that I think Eri is going to use her rewind quirk to revert Shigaraki back to Tenko. Because technically she can, right? It's implied that her quirk is like manipulating time more so than anything. So if you just revert the being of Shigaraki backwards, you can make him Tenko again. And I guess that's really the only way to like save him at this point. I mean, we were speculating about how it was going to happen before with, I don't know, Izuku bringing the personality out of him through the vestiges and whatnot. But how are you going to revert the body backwards? Unless, Shigaraki's quirk singularity body somehow forcibly did it. But Eri doing it would make more sense, I guess. You wouldn't have to jump through so many hoops. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot more that I want to talk about with this chapter. I want to go way more in depth on the theories that I discussed in this video. In the chapter review, once the chapter comes out, I'll probably have it out either tomorrow or Saturday morning. I also want to go more into what I think the future of Dabi and Toga is going to be, because I think that could parallel to Shigaraki possibly. So subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and please follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm trying to get 10,000 followers on there. Also, have a great day, and I'll see you the next one.